What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Turnbuckle Talk with myself, Josh Vibes Up, and Kraken Wrestling. What's up, Kraken? How was your week, bro?
Oh, it's fantastic. Outside of Wednesday was fantastic for sure.
Blood and guts, man. You were there
Yeah,
live.
yeah. And Thursday I did nothing but just resting and actually watched the show back to see inside a little better. So I got to see more of what happened. Yes, in that aspect. And today it wasn't bad. Today was actually above freezing, so I did some stuff I need to do around the house. Great
Yeah, it's
week.
been getting chilly here, but the last few days it's been in the 70s here. So, it's weather, bipolar Colorado weather this time of year. But we had Blood and Guts. This whole week of wrestling was fantastic. Honestly, we were spoiled as
It
American
was,
wrestling
yeah.
fans with the weekly TV. Um, and then of course, I have a indie show I'm going to tomorrow. So not only do you get to go to a wrestling show, an indie show, I'm going to an indie show. And funny enough, SmackDown's going to be here in Colorado next Friday. But as of right now, I have no plans on going because the prices are so. F that. Like I'll check pick the day of, but I really doubt it because money's already. It's that time of year where I'm like trying to save for like Christmas and everything. You know what I mean?
See, and
So
they just released the tickets for the ones in Charlotte and Raleigh here in North Carolina. And that's two big cities for us that they normally come through around Christmas or right there at the start of the year. Um,
mm.
and Raleigh is actually affordable, and that's the capital, which surprised me. But then Charlotte is like, I think it's like 300 for the upper level at one side of it. I'm just like, damn, that is crazy.
So the cheapest ticket right now on just straight off Ticketmaster for one ticket is $60 before fees. And it's like, so the stage will be like, so here's the stage, right? Like however tall it'll be, I don't know. Probably their normal one with the curtain behind it. And then the seat's like up here. Like
Yeah,
catty corner to the stage. So it's $60 for that. If I wanted, say, I don't know, section 300, we'll just choose the very last row, 322. This is like behind commentary, the very top nosebleed,
mhm.
$73 before fees.
At the very top of this building, though.
Very top, the very last row, section 322 in the ball arena in Denver. So let's see, let's check the lower bowl. Let's check section 102 and let's go. These are resale. Okay, so we'll go not 102. So I'm gonna check the one next to it. $228 for second row lower bowl, but you're like looking more towards like you're behind commentary, so you're like
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So,
catty
s-
cornered. Kind of like you were for war games, actually, catty cornered.
yeah, I'll tell you what though, that those seats actually wasn't bad being catty corner like that.
$228 though for that
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah, for that,
WWE,
yeah, yeah,
and that's camera side.
yeah.
Um, on the opposite side, it would be 198 for basically the same seat, so not much cheaper. I'm sure on like TickPick where they don't do like the fees after the fact, it's just included in the ticket. It'll be cheaper, probably closer to the day of show. But like, yeah, I have really no plans on going, and they're actually doing a double taping. So
Yeah, because the 28th, I think they're off.
yeah, because it's the day after Thanksgiving. So, but anyways, if that changes, of course, I'll let you guys know because you never know, stuff happens. But we have a lot to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk about is it was revealed via WrestleVotes on Twitter today or X that SmackDown on January 2nd will be going back to the 3 hours. I've been very vocal about it. Talked about it earlier today on both Instagram and TikTok. Made a little video about it. And I'm never a fan of 3 hour wrestling shows. Obviously, Raw did it for like a decade plus.
Yep.
Um, and so obviously that was like you get used to that over time, but like I still felt like even when SmackDown did it earlier this year, they still like a lot of people say it's good for give certain wrestlers time to on TV that day. And they do sometimes, but WWE's not that consistent with it. They plan what they plan, and if they have an overact, they'll get multiple. Look at the Judgment Day back on Raw a few years ago. They were getting multiple segments throughout the show in a 3 hour Raw.
There was, yeah.
And I feel like that'll just end up being the case again on SmackDown with whoever, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like we had this issue. I think what 3 months ago, maybe a little longer. SmackDown was 3 hours. Um,
SmackDown ended that in like July or like at the end of June.
yeah, and I felt like they were feeding us more commercials than there was stuff in ring.
Well, there's obviously gonna be more commercials with the extra hour on, but yeah, they seem more consistent. Like, so sometimes like we'll have like we've had Raws, obviously it's on Netflix, but we still get commercials in the States. They're 2.5 hours, not really the 3. I think that's the sweet the sweet spot currently.
Is a 2.5 hour mark. Yeah,
Yes.
I agree. Raw's been doing it here recently. At least the last 3 weeks that I've noticed, they go
There was
2:45.
one that was there was one that was 2:45, but the rest have been near Mondays was around 2.5.
Yeah, and it's felt smooth. It felt like everything wasn't rushed and it went right. But I feel like when you go to the 3 hour mark, you're having somewhere drags, whether it be the
Sometimes. It's not all the time. WWE has had times where it's really good, but like in general, I feel like 3 hours is just too much. Like it's just too long for a weekly episodic show. Like I'm even like, oh, Wednesday Dynamite. It's gonna be 3 fucking hours next week. Fuck.
yeah, it,
It's
Dynamite and
long.
Collision.
I hate it. I like it, but at the same time, like it's fun usually. But it's like by the time it's over, it's like fuck, man. It's this time. Fuck me. It's
I
long. It's a
understand.
long show. So yeah, I'm not happy about it.
I'm not either, but we'll see what happens with it. See how fast they change it back.
I hope they do. So a lot of stuff's going on in TNA. Yesterday on the TNA live episode, they were live at Full Sail. Their first show back. So they've had like 4 weeks of filler. I think they've like showed like these specials and other stuff. Like other weird fillers that they've had taped or something. Anyway, so last night was their first show back after the month hiatus, basically since Bound for Glory. And when Mike Santana won the title, so his first show, they start off the show with him like celebrating the title. Eventually, of course, we had the whole call your shot gauntlet thing happen. So we saw both Nick Nemeth and Frankie Kazarian win that. So Frankie Kazarian ends up cashing in that night. What makes this even more hilarious is NXT invades the match, but it's not like Trick or Oba or Ricky or Javon or Josh Briggs or like kind of the upper echelon of characters on the men's side. It's Lexus King, Brooks Jensen, Tyson and Tyreek, High Rise, um, guys that we don't know. I feel like we don't normally see a lot of on NXT right now. And so I thought that was comical because it's the TNA title match, whatever. But what was even funnier about that is earlier in the night there was a segment with Ava and Santino where they were all buddy, like, oh, TNA and NXT are good friends now. And then that happened. So I was like, okay, how does that make sense? Obviously, I probably got to explain tonight. I don't really know much about Turning Point from tonight, besides a few things. But then, of course, Santana loses to Kazarian. Shout out Kazarian. I mean, I don't know if he's ever had the belt before, but I just think this was the worst timing to do so. Obviously, what's come out about this is now, earlier today, it was reported initially by PW Insider on their Elite section, which is their paywall, that Mike Santana hadn't showed up to last night's meet and greet after the taping or the live show, and then he hadn't returned calls this morning, blah, blah, blah. SRS came out with an article saying, or at least his debunkathon on Fightful Select. So go subscribe to their Patreon, Fightful Select, because SRS is goated with his news. This is what he says about Mike Santana and the debunkathon. Mike Santana news about him is not answering his calls at his work. The same official at TNA tried to feed that us and provided it elsewhere. Normally, we wouldn't blast something like this, but it's the first time someone in an official capacity reached out and provided us a worked angle in an effort to specifically work our audience. We'll elaborate more on this weekend in our select shows. So, and they've been accused in the past, like Fightful and other sites, about, oh, you guys are fed these lies by these companies to promote their shows and blah, blah, blah. Or like, oh, the Rollins thing isn't work. You guys are been feeding lies with the WWE to be part of the work, whatever. And so that's funny that they're claiming this is the first time that someone in official capacity reached out to them to try to get this story over. So my guess is that they saw the backlash from him losing and they're trying to run it into like Santana's piss storyline now. The one thing I did see that happen on Turning Point was Carlos Silva started out the show because my fiance texted me this. And he had Kazarian in the ring, and he told Kazarian they're launching an investigation with why NXT got involved last night, and with Kazarian's also being investigated as well. So
they're
that's where
gonna
this is going.
they seen the backlash. They didn't I guess they don't like the negative feedback from it, and they're gonna try to spin it that way.
Smart, honestly.
Yeah, but does that draw back that kiss that how they done it? Upset.
People that are curious if they're gonna redeem him. I mean, it's obviously gonna be a redemption story. He'll become a two-time TNA champ, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it personally because they did the whole build-up all year. They didn't crown him at Slammiversary in New York. They finally do it at Bound for Glory. They take 4 weeks off of normal programming for them, like the normal TNA episodes, to have him lose immediately on his first defense.
That's
The
horrible.
first show he was champion on, technically.
That's
I believe they taped something for after BFG, but it was it was before BFG. So like Santana, like they did a whole thing. Oh, he forgot to bring his belt tonight or something because he was in a match on that. I don't know. Anyways, TNA.
Jesus.
If you guys follow my content, you know I don't watch TNA weekly. I'll watch sometimes their big events like Bound for Glory and Slammiversary, and sometimes I'll check out their Friday special events when they happen. Not all the time because I'm not really a big fan of them. Stuff like this is just not for me. Like, I mean, obviously they're gonna try to do a redemption story to redeem themselves. Who knows where it was gonna go initially here? If even if this was the plan to begin with, I still think it's dumb. I don't know. Not a fan.
I'm not either.
So TNA, LOL TNA. That was the title of my video earlier. LOL TNA. Different management, same bullshit.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's creative side.
Nah. So the one other news thing too is apparently Joe Henry is fully signed with the WWE now, according to Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp. So he apparently finished up all his obligations with TNA and now is an active WWE superstar.
Yep. So I do believe that him and Thea will win those titles. Now that he's a
Oh,
full
100%.
time.
The triple A mixed tags for
Yep.
sure. All right. So we are going to go over Blood and Guts first because you were there live. I'm sure you have a lot to talk about. You were there. When we do start going over matches, I have my reactions ready because I'm not going to show them or nothing. But I literally just made 3-minute reactions of all my favorite spots from both Blood and Guts matches.
Yeah. So
It was just so good.
I actually seen one of them. I seen the women's one. You
Mhm.
did, and you hit all the hot spots for sure in that 3 minutes.
There was a few I wanted to put in there, but I kept going over time because I only try to cap them every reaction. Like not every, but the most I'll do a reaction nowadays on like Insta is or TikTok is 3 minutes. I feel like that's been the sweet spot. So yeah.
But
So yeah, give me your thoughts. You were there live. Just go ahead and start sharing everything because you were there.
so, of course, y'all didn't get to see it live. Flair came out. He came out before the show started.
Yeah,
Tony
there was
brought him
reports that
out.
he left during the show because he wasn't feeling well.
Yeah, it was very short. It was. He came out and said that he was glad to be back in, where it all started. Like I can't remember how many years ago he said, but he was glad to see that it was a full house for the where the best vessel, and he was honored to be there, and it was that short. And
Okay.
he left. Of course, there was reports that automatically came out that he has something going on. Don't know
Yeah, he wasn't
what.
feeling well or
I
something.
know. I think before All In, he had some medical stuff going on too. So I'm hoping
And
it's
he's an
nothing.
older guy,
Yeah,
man. You know, he's in his what 70s, 80s, probably close to 80s. I don't know how old exactly he is, but yeah. So I mean, they're older, they're dealing, and plus he wrestled his whole life, so it aches and pains. He claims he doesn't actually. I've seen a podcast where he says he doesn't have like aches and pains like other wrestlers do, like bad ones. I'm assuming, but anyways, yeah. So that's a bummer about Flair. Hopefully he's good.
yeah. And then so I don't even know how to explain it. Just the atmosphere for the whole arena before the show started. Like we was all excited for the women's Blood and Guts. That's all the anticipation for the show was for majority of the people there. We wanted to see how the women were going to be able to handle a Blood and Guts match, and they fucking killed it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely killed
Did
it.
you wish it was the main event?
I did. I was talking to people around me. I was telling them that they wanted it to be the main event. I did myself. Um, but with it opening the show, they actually set the bar higher, and I think the men was like it didn't hit as high, but they had the spots that were still good in the match.
I think people are gonna hate me because I agree. So I don't know if you saw Meltzer's star ratings for Blood and Guts. But I agreed with Meltzer. I don't know if he gave the men's 5, but I know it was above the women's. I agree with Dave.
For the s
It wasn't here. I'll look it up what he rated it. 'Cause I don't. I usually don't even watch that, like read that, but it's always like Russell Pierce and a few other on Twitter tweet them out.
Mhm.
Um,
For the storytelling side, I could understand him going with the men's, but, like, for it being I don't know, because the women's built up a lot heading into the finals
oh no, they did.
for
Yeah.
the tag, so I would like to know the
Um,
reasoning,
so he gave 4.5 to the women, 5 stars to the men.
and that's reasonable. I guess because of maybe because how they had Moxley lose at the end?
I saw people tweeting that they thought Blood and Guts was meant for the men until Mox got in there, and I didn't think
I
that.
will say, now, during that match, after Briscoe got injured, there were people, like, around us was like, "Well, what the fuck's the point in waiting? Like, just have the rest of them come out and let's get this thing going." Like, Briscoe's obviously coming in last, or you're gonna have a big surprise at the end.
Well, I mean, it's just the rules of war games.
Yeah.
You have to wait for the countdown for everyone to get in.
Yeah, but, like, even the people, in the energy was still there, but it's just like, "Okay, so here we go."
I thought it was unnecessary. And I totally called it too because me and my cousin Rick were. It happened where he got attacked and whatnot, and I was just like, yeah, like who's it gonna be? And I couldn't think of anyone. I was like, I mean, I was thinking Swerve and Osprey. I was like, no, it's too soon for Swerve and Osprey, I think. And then I was like, well, it could just do the whole, oh, look at the will, the strength of, because it could also be the way to like leading into him losing because he got beaten down by the Don Callis family, they
Yup.
said. And so he came out obviously and beat down, and he had all this. And I said it though, I was like, he's gonna come out, and they're like, oh, look at the power of him. He's going out to continue in this crazy match. And sure enough, he fucking did. I was fine with it. I mean, I guess it was kind of. I get it. It's gonna go into the match next weekend at Full Gear with the Callis fam, but eh.
So, some of the people around us, were thinking that, Sting may show back up because of where they're at if Darby needed the help. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And then, I was thinking that, we haven't heard from Adam Cole. We don't know what his injury was, so it could be
It
him.
was concussion. No, he's gonna be. He
Um,
was debating retirement. So
there was a lot of people that was like, who could it be? And I was like, if nothing else, it's Briscoe's gonna come back out. He's gonna fight one way or another.
yeah, for sure. Um, that's cool though. So, was there anything surprising about seeing like Blood and Guts live, like that you didn't expect, or anything about like anything different? I know it's the two rings with the cage. So, was it hard to see the action with the cage and
Yes.
stuff?
So, um, the cage itself, like, you could see what was going on, but it was hard to see any of the chair shots,
Oh,
any
damn.
weapons. You could hear them, but you couldn't see them in the way at least where I was sitting, 'cause I
What
had
made me more curious about that was not just because it was like war games, it's because this time AEW put a ton of lights in there that were like lighting the ring,
so
which was smart as fuck. So I was curious if that made it better for the live audience too.
it yes, so you could see in there better, but, like, I had the big pole, like, the side pole in the way of the
Like the
view.
edge.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
edge.
like or like the
So
corner
if
of the cage.
If they were on the far right side of the mat, you could see fine. So, like, when, they tied up Moxley with the chain right before Darby got put through the tables, you could see that
Mhm.
plainly. And then to see Darby go through the table, you could
Oh,
see
that was on the stage,
yeah, it
yeah.
was over at the stage, so you could see through the glass, Pac pick him up. It was almost like it was pixelated, though, because of the
Yeah.
cage itself.
That one makes sense since it was all the way up there though. But yeah, so in the ring though, it was only like so like if they were in the left side of the ring, you couldn't see as well?
Not no, I couldn't. But they had
Damn.
the Tron on, so that helped us.
Yeah. That's a bummer though. I mean, I guess it depends on where you sit. If you were sitting kind of more centered on one of the sides, you might be able to well,
Yeah,
maybe not the back side, you just see that one ring the best, but that's interesting because I have seen Hell in a Cell live, and I was kind of like you, catty corner that, but I was in WrestleMania. That was 39 in LA, so it was huge. So
yeah.
I was pretty far back, definitely further back than you were because I was in SoFi, pretty huge stadium compared to Philly, dude. Because of that stadium, they're fucking the Lincoln's like I felt way more cramped next to everyone, and at SoFi, I felt like everyone had so much room
Yeah,
to like wiggle
I can
around.
see that.
But so yeah, so I was curious because I didn't know. I've only been the big cell and the One Ring, so I was like, I wonder how much different that would be live.
No, but I would like for me though. If you like, I've seen people talk about like MVPs of each match and stuff. For me, Sky Blue surprised the hell out of me. Not just because of the blood aspect of it, but what all she done in the match surprised me.
You know what's funny though is I didn't feel like I didn't really include much of anything of her in my reaction clip.
Really, I mean,
But, I mean, I felt like she ate a lot of shit, but it wasn't like anything. It didn't look crazy. Like a lot of the stuff, it was just like she got hit with like weapons and whatnot, and then she just ended up bleeding. Like, and that's crazy. Don't get me wrong, but when it's blood and guts and you have all this shit going down, that's
yeah,
topping it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, that's kind of what we see in normal hardcore matches.
yeah. I
This
mean,
is blood and guts. Give me the chaotic shit. So I guess that's the way I was looking at it more. But the thing for her, I think that really won everyone over is just she was, as Jim Ross would say, a Crimson Mask. She
the
was
whole
literally a
time.
horror character. She looked like she was in a fucking Michael Myers movie or whatever. Freddy Krueger. She looked like she fucking escaped one of the boogeymen. And they did this. Almost everyone in this match was bleeding for both the women and men. Funnily enough, I think Mox didn't bleed until like close to the end of the match. If not, I didn't. Like I don't even remember for sure because it was just basically everyone. But I feel like everyone was bleeding but him at one point, and it cracked me up.
Yeah, he I think was the very last, right before they
He
put
was second to last. It was Pac who was last.
Pack. Okay,
Yeah, which was weird. I know. Some of the entry orders were interesting to me. Like
yeah,
Pac was last for Death Riders, and then for like the women, I thought maybe Mercedes would be last, but she was like third. And then Tony and Mina were the last two.
yeah.
So I
That
thought
was
that was
odd.
interesting. Well, no, sorry, that was the babyface. I mixed them up. It was I forgot who the last two for the heels were. Um, yeah, but it felt out of place. I was like, oh, I thought Mercedes would be last, and Stat came in like fourth too.
Marina was
It was weird.
last.
Yeah, so like Stat came in like fourth.
I tell you, Marina, she impressed me in this match. Like I've seen her do tag team work.
A lot of people were talking about Marina after this match for sure. Her entrance was pretty fire too in it.
Oh yeah, like I did not know what song she had for her entrance because I don't think she's ever played it. But she has a pretty good damn entrance song for herself.
So one thing I have to bring up, and I'm sure you might have seen it, is it was said that Jamie Hayter suffered some chipped teeth.
Oh my god.
So the spot I'm assuming it happened at is the start of my reaction on all the social media. It happened really early in the match. So Jamie's in the bottom corner, and Megan has a trash can lid on top of her, so she can't see. And those are obviously like aluminum; they bend really easily, like soda cans. And then she grabs the steel chair as Statlander's making her entrance, and they cut back to it, and she just yeets this chair, just tosses it right at the trash can lid, and it looks like the top half more so hits her perfectly, like where her head would be,
It does.
and that's my guess to where she gets fucking her tooth chipped because it's nasty looking.
No, it is 100% because so Statlander's music hits and she got the pop for it. And then I'm watching the ring because, of course, I'm more interested on what's happening in the ring because I see Megan walking around with this chair. And all of a sudden, you just see, wow, and you hear it.
It's
I've
so
watched it
nasty.
back. You can't hear it on the show because they're talking. But you hear the chair shot like it was like when Briscoe got his head hit. That's what it sounded
And then
like.
immediately after all of it too, there's the doctor is checking on her, or the ref. I mean, I'm sorry,
Oh,
the
yeah,
ref's there, and he's like standing, sitting next to her, like on his knees, and she's in the second ring while everyone's in the first ring, and she's like right by the ropes, and the camera angle, you just could clearly see him hand on his little pack, talking and like just checking on her.
yeah.
But yeah, I knew right away that I was like, please don't tell me she just came back from injury.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, please.
I think of Bryce was in there with Aubrey that match, and
There's
yeah,
two. They had two refs. Yeah,
he was checking on her, and it was nasty. She was down for majority of the match after that. And then of
it was.
course, she got back up. I think towards the end, she delivered that god awful table spot. I don't know who was like, "Hey, these are the tables to use tonight." No, those are not the tables. The only
Kinda
right,
happened in SmackDowns tonight too,
the
unfortunately, with the table
the
art. Maybe
only
they're just using some fucking amazing tables, I don't
I
know.
don't know. The only right table that was used was the one outside for Mercedes and Statlander
Yeah,
because
for
it
Mercedes
broke.
that, yeah. Speaking of outside, they had when Marina was out there, they had a bed of nails, kind of like Mox and Hangman. Not as long, I think. They look pretty crazy though, and she pushed Statlander back into them on the outside. It was nasty, and Stat was screaming bloody murder.
Yeah, so I seen Marina come in, she drug her out, she throws her on the ground. I didn't see where they came from because, of course, the angle we was
Under the ring.
at.
I was either under the ring or like they had like a thing over it, and then she just like took it off, and there it was. But like, yeah,
Okay.
they pulled it out, I think, from under the ring.
Yeah, that was. I mean, even though she looks like she doesn't land hard, I know for a fact it punctured skin.
Yeah, so the spot where the table doesn't break, it's initially a power bomb from Jamie to Sky, it looks like. And the table just doesn't budge at all on the power bomb. And then Jamie does that the knees, and it barely bends. Oh no, she has an elbow and it barely cracks at all.
Yeah, it was.
And a funny spot, of course, Harley had the brass knuckle underneath the fucking Monet puppet.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like, I couldn't have seen the puppet spot unless I was
Mhm.
watching the Tron, because you
Yeah.
couldn't really see her hand that was behind her. But then when you see it on the Tron, of course I popped for it because everyone was asking in my section, "Where's the puppet at?" You know,
Yeah.
and so, but yeah, like I
So
said, it was great from the view we had.
yeah, so and then we had Julia and Tekla, they crawled out of the cage, which was weird, and then they went and got the key from the ref so they could have control of opening and closing the door. Which was I thought really interesting because I know they don't follow the rules like the way WWE does it, where like so WWE doesn't do it like the natural rules, where like their rules you can leave the cage, you're DQ'd. So they don't
Yes.
follow that in AEW. There's like these little holes that they just squeeze through. Of course, Mercedes got put through the was it Mercedes got put through by Stat? It's always hard to tell on that one, but I think it was Mercedes got put through by Stat on the table on the outside.
So it looked like, because of course they climbed the far
Looks
way.
like she does like the thing where she's like on, like she has her like in the where her arms are trapped, like under her arm and leg,
Mhm.
and just like
It looked like almost like a Death Valley driver or a Samoan drop. But then
kind
other
of.
angles, it kind of looked like she was trying to do like something else. Mercedes was, but I think Mercedes was the one that was supposed to go to the table.
No, they both did basically.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a spot too where they had Tony had glass like in it was like a champagne bottle, I guess. She had it like in the whole bucket, and she broke it up in the bucket, and then she had tape like backwards on her hand, or it was like double-sided tape probably.
Hmm.
And she stuck it in the broken glass, and then she started punching bitches.
Yes.
That was badass. And then she put the rest of the glass after that on the ground in the ring, and her and Mina DDT'd Marina in it. It was fucking sick.
Yeah. The other spot that Tony took was when she put that fucking mirror on
The
Marina,
mirror over
and then
Marina, yeah.
just Marina picks it up and just smashes it on her fucking head. That
And then
was,
Moxley uses a piece of that in the fucking men's Blood and Guts. That was fucking sick.
dude. It was like I've seen a lot of people talk how like they didn't like it because of the stuff the women did in the match, that women shouldn't be doing that stuff, and I'm just like, it's in the fucking name. Like, it's
Pussies,
blood and guts. This is
pussies. Excuse my
huge.
language, but
Like, I actually had someone, I posted like my thoughts about it yesterday. I did like a little, like, I think it's a minute and a half. I posted on my YouTube, and I actually had someone comment on it and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna check it out. I'm done with WWE." Commented back to him, was like, "Hey, when you watch it, let me know what you think about it." And let me pull it up real quick. I'll tell you what his exact or her response was, because I was really interested in what someone that's not seen it thought about it.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it was amazing. Anyone who thinks that's women shouldn't bleed are dumb in my opinion.
they said first off, at 20 minutes in, the ref had one of the greatest ring sense moments. I'm thinking that's the Jamie Hayter spot where they checked on her.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
probably.
this was
I thought it
more.
was before that, but
It might have been. He said this was more like an old war games. I finally remember from the top rope to the out of the cage shenanigans. They definitely set the bar for women's wrestling for years to come, and that was awesome. Uh,
yeah, definitely.
so
Yeah, for sure.
for someone not to have watched the product when it was live, go back and watch it off of someone else's thoughts and enjoy it itself. that's saying something for what they did.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm glad that they liked it. That's badass. So the men's Blood and Guts, Darby had a thumbtack skateboard that he used on Wheeler Yuta because they were the first to start. Orange Cassidy broke his own sunglasses and stabbed Wheeler Yuta in the head with them. That was fucking
Yes.
badass. Oh yeah, OC also tried to pin Wheeler.
Yeah.
First, like there's no pins, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I didn't know." He's like, "Oh, sorry," or whatever he does. Fucking OC's dumbass. Me and Rick thought that was hilarious. Let's see right here. Oh yeah, Mark Briscoe didn't show up initially. They did the whole thing backstage where Roderick ended up taking when he was supposed to be out there. And then Kyle, of course, came out right after that when it was in the babyface turn again. Let's see. I don't remember why I included this part of the clip. Roddy's just fucking up DG in this clip. We might have just been talking. Oh, it was me saying about. Oh my god, I forgot about that. It was just me saying like calling the Mark Briscoe spot. I included that in the clip. Darby, so he's in there, and then Daniel Garcia has him like in that like where you like cradle them up, and their like arms and their legs are fucking up like that.
Yep.
So he like let go of Darby's arms, and Darby's like almost like a fucking snake, right? He's like fucking up in the air, but like still stuck with his legs. And then Daniel just like pushes him into Claudio, who's gonna do an uppercut, but he hits directly.
Yes.
Like Claudio barely gets his arm anywhere, and his boom right here on his elbow, his fucking head hits bad, and Darby immediately grabs his nose and falls to the ground. It is just one of the most disgusting things in this match that didn't include a weapon. It was, you could tell Claudio's like, I was too close. Fuck.
Yeah.
Or he was too close.
Yeah.
Fuck. Because he fucking blasted his ass, dude. It was nasty.
Yeah.
And then Mox also came in with the fork.
Yeah. Like, he just comes in and just starts stabbing fucking people. And there
I
was
always feel like it's 100% premeditated murder because he puts tape on it. It's always like tape on the handle, so it doesn't
Yeah.
look like a fork at first until you see the little fork part, and you're like, "Oh shit, that is a fork." I thought that was like a plastic something, and then that's an actual fork with tape on it. My god.
Yeah, there was people behind me that were like, you know, it was the first AEW show. Like someone bought them tickets because they were in the area, and that was
Does
the
it smell like
first.
iron in here, anybody? No.
And they were like, I didn't realize AEW was on this this level of chaos, you know. And they
Mhm.
were like, this is fucking awesome. And you know, I was like, this is not normal like you would see every show, but there is fucking chaos like this
Oh,
majority
bull
of the
fucking
time.
shit. When I went to Dynamite in 2022, we had a fucking tag match, random fucking tag match between LFI and I forgot whoever else it was. I think it was Jungle Boy and Hook. And it was a fucking Falls Count Anywhere match.
Oh yes, that was wild.
And then no, that was 2023. And then in 2022, when I went to AEW, I got to see the best of 7 between Death Triangle and Kenny and the Elite. And that was fucking Falls Count Anywhere one. And that's I've seen 2 Falls Count Anywhere in AEW live.
Jesus. The Falls Count
Technically.
Anywhere match also for this show was great, but we'll get to that in a second. The
Yeah.
what the I wouldn't say scariest, but the most concerning part in this was the fucking battle on top of this cage. 'Cause
Oh yeah,
I
with
really
Briscoe and Wheeler.
I thought they were gonna make Yuta famous. I was really concerned that that was what they were
I
gonna
was
do.
hoping that someone was gonna go down because he initially set up the table on the outside mark once he finally was out there. And then Wheeler climbed on the opposite end, and then Mark climbed up top. Oh, and then he looked like he was gonna jump on. I forgot who it was,
Pack.
Daniel
Yeah.
or Pac,
Yeah.
yeah. And then they got out of the way, and so he didn't do it, you know. So
Telling
I
you.
thought they were gonna do. I thought they were gonna send someone flying from up there.
I did, like I was like,
They did
"Yeah."
it to Sammy on like the first Blood and Guts, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, I think Eddie done it to him. He threw him off of it.
Yeah,
But I
I was
was
waiting for Wheeler to eat shit.
because I didn't see, you know, Danielson and Excalibur and them move, and I was like, "Oh, so maybe they're not coming this way." I said, "But that table is still down there." And it just went over there, and they finally got away from it, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And he sets up the J driller, and I was like, "They cleared out the left side of the ring. They're going through this fucking thing," and that didn't
I
happen.
thought they were too. Yeah,
Uh,
no, that's way too high. That's even higher than the old Hell in a Cell was that Mick went through. Like even the Hell in a Cell now is higher than it used to be. I don't think they were gonna do that ever again unless they fucking
I mean, they did it with
have.
Shane at one time, but I don't think they do it again.
That was outside to a fucking announce table that had a crash pad on it.
Oh yeah, there were no fucking crash pads there.
Yeah. um. Yeah, but there's so many crazy spots in this match. Darby gets spike pile driven with Daniel on a glass, and then Moxley drug him through the rest of the glass afterwards.
God.
I love Daniel's reaction though, because obviously his ass fell on the glass, so he literally grabs his ass and he gets on his knees and he like runs away on his knees in pain.
Yeah.
I
I
was like,
mean,
thank you for selling it because you landed in the glass too.
yeah, but he's wearing those shorts. Like, of course, his ring attire is odd, but
It's just shorts and like shoes. That's it.
but he like he he hit it and it was just automatically just like shit and just scurried off. Like it was great.
Darby also climbed like one of the sides, like
Yes.
where the cage connects, and then he had like he like monkey barred the beam, and then he just fucking coffin dropped on everyone.
Yeah. That was
Dude, I wish I had that type of upper body strength. I couldn't do the monkey bars when I was little either.
he can climb anywhere.
I mean, I climbed Everest, so.
Yeah.
I forgot they locked the thing, so yeah, Mark Briscoe had to use the bolt cutters to open it. He eats a chair at Wheeler's head, and then they get all kinds of chairs up on top of the cage by using like a long cable with a carabiner, and they just wrap it through the chairs. I was like, that is the smartest fucking thing in this type of match I've ever seen.
It was.
Like they weren't just pre-planted; they literally had to go through the trouble to get them up there.
Yeah, and they got stuck. I don't know if it showed that.
Yeah, they got stuck on like where the like bigger part connects, I guess. And he had to lean over and like pull the rope out a little bit, and then he pulled it up. We saw it. They kind of cut when that was happening, but we saw it.
And it had like a Star Wars battle on top of the cage to begin with, which is great.
And then fucking Wheeler dropped his. Yeah, dude. That was such a. And then they fucking staple gunned OC's hands in his pocket, and it was legit. I'm sure you saw on the screens, but it was like legit, dude. It was disgusting.
Yeah, we seen like you could see him hold him down. You could hear the click of it, but you couldn't if you didn't see.
That was in the ring by you too. I'm seeing my clip. That was on the side closer to you. Oh my gosh. It's so nasty. Even now, just watching it back on my reaction is cringy. Dude, and then the highlight of the match, of course, at least in my opinion, is Darby and Pac are battling up on the ramp. Gabe Kidd comes out, starts battling. We hadn't seen Gabe Kidd since he got put in the body bag and drugged by Darby. Yep. That was like a couple months ago. And so Gabe Kidd beats him down, helps Pac. They go up on top of the stage, like on the actual like where the tunnel is. They're on top of that. And eventually Pac gets control of Darby up there, and Gabe Kidd gets the lighter fluid and gets both tables out of there all covered up and lights it. Darby goes through them both, and fucking when he rolls off, his back is still, you can see it has flames on it a little bit, and he's rolling around to try to stop it, and you can tell he's freaking out, and there are people there are trying to help him, like roll.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, at first I was like, why don't you have fire extinguishers ready like you did for Jack? Jesus Christ.
But they had towels there, thankfully, because he was still lit.
Still, at least have those on standby just in case for him. I'm sure they did, and maybe Darby's like, "Don't unless I can't go out" or something, you know. But
so I actually
it was wild.
So they start fighting going up towards like right there at the ramp area, away from the cage, and you hear the floor get a little like excited. So I look over and you see Gabe coming. I was like, oh shit. I said, now something's gonna happen. Like we're uneven at this point. And when he just attacked Darby and they went up there, I was like, okay. Darby did not, prepare for this. But I'm glad he went through the table because I feel like they're building a Gabe Kidd, or they're gonna build a Pac versus Darby or Gabe and Darby at Full Gear.
Yeah, for sure. Especially since the last time we saw him was where he got drug away, so that would make sense too, for next weekend, for those two to battle. I was really surprised that we didn't see like Darby get more involved at the end of the match. Like, I mean, like the celebration, but it made sense. I mean, same with Mercedes when they won. She got put through that table and she never came back in the ring. And so that's what I loved about when they were showing them celebrating the heels for the women when they won. So they're all celebrating, and you just see the four. And then it cuts to Mercedes, and she's just all passed out on the fucking table, all broken, not even moving, eyes closed. I was like, that is hilarious to see, because obviously she's facing Chris at Full Gear.
Yep.
So, And her team won. I didn't bring this up when we were talking about the women's. I loved how she brought all her titles in the ring.
Oh yes.
Like she gave like every single woman a belt. Like here you go. And then that was the finish. Was Mina getting? She was in the submission,
God Almighty.
and Megan was just they were holding Tony. They were making Tony watch, and that's why Tony quit. And they were just beating down Mina, and she was hitting her with the belt. But it also looked like she was hitting Marina really good with like
She
the side
did.
plates and shit. Looked like Marina was eating a lot of shit like on her ribs. I was like, oh, poor Marina is eating some of that fucking belt, isn't she? And then that you hit her again, Mina, and I was like, oh, Marina is. You could tell she's kind of like wincing a little bit, but trying to hide it.
Yeah. That was a good ending. That one. It shows the dominance in Marina and Megan in that instance against, I guess, Mina and Storm, but also it still sets up the Triangle of Madness, be
Yes.
runners for the titles as well.
I also love that they also had Penelope there getting involved, just like ringside, and then also Queen Aminata, who
Aminata,
was
yep.
supposed to be involved. So they
I didn't.
also she ran off Penelope.
Yeah, I didn't see Aminata at first. I didn't actually know she
Yeah,
was out there.
we only got like a good 3-4 second shot of her, like she was already in her face, and then it like just showed her like kind of backing her up the ramp, basically.
Yeah. Now, like, I was excited that they brought Penelope out with Megan, even though the entrance, they did the regular entrance and she had chairs with her. She actually helped give some chairs in throughout the match. I thought that was good, still being able to give her moments in the match that she could do. I know she wanted to be in there as much as everyone
Oh
else
yeah.
did.
So yeah, I was just glad that they included them in some way, in shape, or form. So and then the men's side, Moxley tapped again. So now he submitted this time, but Kyle O'Reilly, they teased a good back and forth though. They had Moxley kind of reverse his submission initially into a bulldog choke,
Yeah.
but then Kyle reversed that back into a submission where everyone was down but him, and he ended up tapping out. So I was kind of a lot of people were predicting in my chat like that like right after the show or towards the end, like before they went off the air, they would have like kind of like a way of the Death Riders kind of showing almost like a no confidence in Mox after that or like something. I still think that's gonna happen, especially because now he's quit twice, or no, what, 3 times now? It's a Darby too. So yeah, so I'm very curious where this is gonna go. Like they went from earlier this year, me personally being like, oh my god, I'm so tired of this Death Rider story, to like, oh my god, I'm excited to see where this Death Rider story is going. That's where
Yeah.
I'm at right now.
So I don't know because, like I said, I didn't watch all the show back. I just watched mainly. I ain't gonna lie, I watched mainly the women's Blood and Guts back. But after the match ended, I don't know how much y'all seen. Orange Cassidy got on the mic and
I didn't
was
see any of that.
so he was like, "Roddy, did you tap out?" And then no, Briscoe, did you tap out? Kyle, did you tap out? And then he got the crowd to start chanting, "You tapped out," to Mox. And so that was feeding into it. Claudio he looked pissed, of course, but Garcia was still like backing Moxley when they were leaving after this. So
Interesting.
I don't know if maybe Claudio, like you said, Claudio might
And
leave.
Garcia just joined like
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Yeah, so that was interesting. And then at the table spot. So it happened right up there at the front. So after the show, Tony came out and was talking. Of course, as he always does, thanks Greensboro for the great show, being a great crowd. He loves Greensboro, thinks it's a great wrestling country. And then it was a little, I don't know if it was like a kid and his mom or whatever, but he was dressed up as Darby. And he asked Tony if he could get a piece of the table. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter or not, but he actually got a piece of the table. They were able to take it home.
That's cool.
Tony gave it to him.
That's awesome. Nice.
That was pretty cool.
And then of course we also had the Falls Count Anywhere match to Hangman Page. This should have been a title match. I get why it wasn't, but it just felt like it should have been a title match after it ended. You know what I mean? It was so good.
Yeah, it was actually, so the start of it for me was kind of slow, and then they went outside, and that's when I feel like things picked up.
So yeah, it definitely picked up once they got outside. So when they got up on the table, announce table,
God.
and the first Hobbs slipped. So actually before this, he like gets him and like, and he like hits him on the side of the ring, like the apron, and then he gets him on the announce table, like kind of like power slams. I don't know what you'd call them. Then he does it on the top of the steps. So he did 3 in a row. And then that's when they get up on the table, and then like Hobbs is on there. His like foot falls through where the cables feed.
Yeah.
So he quickly fixes himself, gets back up. And then he's going to like powerbomb. It looks like off the table is like because when where they're at. But Hangman back body drops and Hobbs gets so high up, and when he hits, he falls right on his ass, and he bounces back up
Bounces
in the air
up,
at least a good 7 inches, 8 inches up in the air.
dude.
And then I was like, "Oh my god, his tailbone's broken! Oh my fucking god,
That
Jesus
was my
Christ!" And my cousin
first thought.
Ricky's like, "Oh fuck, that was brutal." And he finished the match because after that they go outside the ring, they fucking go in the crowd. At one point, Hangman hits a moonsault like off of like the little banister, I
And
guess, where
Bannister,
they
yep.
like fans like kind of like lean and onto Hobbs, and then they like go into like another area. They literally go into like a row in this one like smaller section. They made these fans like there was like it was like a row of like 6 people maybe,
Mhm.
like 6 seats. It was a really small section it looked like, and they like it was like where the little bowl I guess started
Yeah,
of that. And they basically kicked those fans out because like at first the fans were like seems like they were just gonna stay there, and like they realized they couldn't, so they moved out of the fucking way.
yeah,
Um, and then that's when Hobbs is on the like banister of that or whatever, and he gets knocked off into the fucking electrical whatever you call it box, I guess. There was a road case too, because it was like a table, I think, but there was like a road case basically on it, and it like launched up and landed on Hobbs. I was like, oh my god! I go, that might not be the heaviest road case, but that had to hurt because road
yeah.
cases are heavy, and even the smaller ones, they're pointy ass corners. They have like the little metal ends. Oh, that probably didn't feel too good.
So I know when they were fighting in the crowd, they were literally right across from us. We could see everything. And so when they go up, see this little box. Oh my god, someone's going through this. And then of
Yeah.
course it blows up and smokes everywhere.
Sparks and everything, yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't know if you've seen my reaction to it or the crowd reaction that I posted, but like, and I don't know if it done it on the show, but like the lights flickered and dimmed in and out. It looked like power was going out in the
Yeah.
arena.
So it like they focused on a shot of Hangman, and it was like a faraway shot, but like
Mm,
the smoke was going over him, and it looked like he was like a slasher villain
yeah,
that just fucking or like whatever, but like yeah, it was just like lighting him up from the bottom, and it looks sick.
yeah. I might go back and watch that part. Now, my only question is because of course I couldn't see it. What did Hangman drink? Well, was it like a
A
soda?
beer.
Was it a beer?
A
Okay,
beer.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
It was when he went to go do the moonsault. So he got up on the banister and he was like using fan shoulders, kind of steady when he was getting up.
Yeah,
And then the fan in front of him like had a beer and was just recording. And he was like, Hangman just pointed to it and
okay.
he gave it to him and he just took a sip, gave it back to the fan, moonsault.
Yeah, okay. Because I remember I seen him do the moonsault. I was like, did he just drink a fucking beer? Like,
Yep. Took a nice little chug of a beer real quick. He's and then gave it back.
yeah, but this match, man, that table spot where Hobbs bounced, like, I was honestly worried, like, if Hobbs was gonna be able to like finish
I
after
thought he
that
broke his
shit.
fucking tailbone, man. I thought that was Dunsky's right there.
But it was smart though, how they had Shibata come out and attack him, and then Joe.
Yeah, so then Joe tried to have the cage lowered, but then Hook and Eddie Kingston came out and it stopped
Yep.
the cage from lowering, and then it turned their match. He's like, well, if you wanted to lower the cage, then we'll have a steel cage. So they're gonna do a steel cage at Full Gear, so that should be pretty badass.
It's gonna be, yeah. I don't think that's the one Joe win. I don't think Joe wins it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I got Hangman retaining, but it's gonna be funny because we're still gonna see
Yeah.
the ops try to
Oh,
get
ops, yeah.
involved and all that. Oh, MJF, and that's another good question. MJF, speaking of, so he has the contract, and the stipulation now after the cash in for the women's side is they have to do it like a week in advance. Like
Mhm.
they have to say it's gonna happen a week before it happens.
Yep.
So does he show up on like a fucking collision? Like this Saturday, and it's like Hangman, like you know what I mean, or is he just gonna hold on to it into 2026 or toward World's End at the end of the year?
I'm thinking Chicago.
So World's End,
Yeah.
that would make sense because I think Fightful did a report recently that he was finishing up filming for Violent Night 2 or whatever it's called, and that he should be returning. Like they're talking creative for him, but he hasn't heard a date yet or
Yeah,
some shit
I
like that.
could see them playing him in the World's End, but like you said, it has to be a week's notice. So give or take, however they want to play that out.
Yeah. So yeah, overall Blood and Guts for me, I gave watching on TV was a 5 out of 5. That was one of the best Dynamites of all time. top to bottom. And then of course there was a segment. The only thing I didn't really care for was the FTR segment. I thought that went a little too long with Ricky Steamboat,
Yeah, it did.
but it
That
was
was
okay. A
that
lot of people seem to
was
enjoy it.
the only filler they had with that. I mean, and they had the Jurassic Express getting attacked by the Don
Yeah,
Callis
they got
family,
attacked
but
backstage, and they showed the Bucks, and they were like trying to entice them to join. And they basically were like, time is running out. Okada told them, so they're gonna find. I think we're gonna find out by Saturday, or if not by
uh,
next Wednesday.
yeah, I think they either be Saturday or Wednesday, but I don't know. I don't think they join. I don't.
Yeah, same. But yeah, one of the best dynamites probably of all time for sure. Probably the best blood and guts ever. Like both of them were great.
Yeah, sure.
So SmackDown we had tonight, and it had to follow a great Raw, great NXT, and a great Blood and Guts, and it was solid in my opinion. What did you think of SmackDown tonight?
I thought it was actually pretty good. I really was worried that it was not going to live up to the rest of the week.
I was worried about that too. So obviously we had to go the two last time is now tournament matches announced before this with LA Knight versus mystery opponent and Jay and the Miz. Who did you have before the show started to be the opponent for LA Knight?
I had Joe Henry.
Same. That was my pick too. And with the report coming out earlier this week about him being a fully contracted WWE superstar, I was like, oh, that makes even more sense for him now.
Hmm?
But it wasn't. It
No.
turned out to be in a shocking manner. And this was like a little over an hour into the show, but we'll talk about it now because it was the most, everyone was curious who it would be. It was Matt Cardona, but it wasn't. It was Zack Ryder. He came out to that theme that they never used that was made by, I believe, Downstate forever ago. So he finally came out to that version of the radio theme song, and he was Zack Ryder. And there's new merch. He has 3 new shirts on WWE Shop as Zack Ryder. They did call him the Indie God. At least I heard Corey Graves bring it up at one point. I think it was an LA Knight reverse into the power bomb from the top rope. But yeah, so I was shocked more that they were calling him Zack Ryder because he also did something in the past, like Zack Ryder's dead and all this shit. So
Yeah, he did.
if I and on NXT recently, he was Matt Cardona. Obviously, he has stuff going on with TNA right now, but he's been going by that since he's left the company. So
I don't know. He's got, like you said, 3 shirts. His wife is a double champ right now inside WWE. He's done everything on the indies, in my opinion, you would want to do because we revamped himself. Like since the last time people who don't watch anything outside WWE has seen. Like the last time they've seen him, he was the Intercontinental Champion. Us, unfortunately, we, not unfortunately, have seen him everywhere else. We know now what he is capable of. And I think we're gonna see that in WWE. And I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, so I haven't seen it. I don't think if there is anything out there, yeah, I would usually get an alert about it if it's from Fightful at least. But I don't know. You were just saying earlier, we were kind of talking about it before the podcast. You were saying that he has a show tomorrow, Saturday. And well, I forgot what promotion you said it was.
I think it's for MLW. I know it's against Karrion Cross. If it's not MLW, it's another one. I'm gonna look it up really quick.
But well, I guess we'll see if he continues that show. I'm thinking it was just through TNA, and they let him use that theme, like they're kind of giving him the redemption at least for the night. Just like, hey, you get to use the theme that you wanted to use for so many years or however long it was that he had that recorded by Downstate and stuff, So but I was surprised just because he did the whole Death of Zack Ryder thing in the past. So cool that it was Zack Ryder, and it was a good match. Him and LA Knight had a really solid match. They have a similar look. They both have like a really chiseled type of upper body, and they have like the, I don't know, like the nice jaw. They're not twins or anything. Doppelganger, however you say that word, doppelganger, however you say that. They're not that, but like I was like, huh, they kind of look similar if you like saw them from a distance, like in their gear and stuff. The only difference really was the hair. But no, they put on a good match. And I figured whoever it was gonna be, even before we knew who it was, that LA Knight would advance. He's lost so much lately that I figured whoever it would be, he'd beat.
A lot of people thought he was being punished for that sign.
Oh, holding the
And
sign. I forgot about
yeah.
that.
And of course when Zach came out, I was like, well shit. This is one of those, it's like if you got Ryder now back in WWE, he's okay with probably taking this loss. I don't think you can give it to LA Knight at this point because you're eventually going to have someone that is frustrated and wants out of the contract.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Zack Ryder next. But that was cool to see him tonight. And
So the Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, so their match was actually not anytime soon. And it's not against Karrion Kross. It's against Mike Santana. Obviously for a ACW heavyweight champion, but I thought that had already happened.
yeah, so we'll see if that match takes place or not. So SmackDown started out with an interesting segment. We had Rhea and Io come out. Of course, they're in the women's war games. They bring out Charlotte and Bliss. Charlotte gets in the ring, and of course, with the long history between her and Rhea, she says, "Rhea, I can't trust you. We have such a long history. I think you're a snake in the grass. You probably think bad things about me too, and that's okay. We have a lot of history, and I can't do this with you. I can't team with you." And she walks out, and she goes to the back, and Bliss tries to stop her before she leaves, but Charlotte just continues to leave, and yeah, so that's a good little twist they're doing here. It was something I didn't expect, but I love the continuity. Of course, they've had 2 WrestleMania matches against each other for the women's title, one for the NXT women's title, one for the WWE women's title that I saw live. One of the best matches I've seen live. So I love the continuity here. Long-term storytelling. Let's go for the win.
Yeah, so it is interesting, but now what I think they could do, if they can't talk Charlotte back into joining, because Alexa said she's gonna try.
Yeah.
I think this is where you could insert Nikki Cross. Because her and Alexa have that history. I know a lot of people probably ain't gonna like that, but
I'm already not liking it.
but I mean, I think they scrapped the whole Wyatt idea at Survivor Series that they were going with, because supposedly there was a report they were supposed to be in it against MFTs, and they've
I
kind of
never saw that report from anywhere. I think it was just fan speculation.
it might have been, but yet again, see, they've scrapped a whole bunch of stuff. I feel like with the Wyatts now.
I don't think that was ever the plan in the first place. I don't think they ever were supposed to be in War Games. I think the plan was always supposed to be a Team Cody versus a Team Vision. I always think that was the plan to begin with, especially because we're coming off of Crown Jewel earlier this year where it was Seth and Cody. Why wouldn't they continue that leading in the war? That makes perfect sense. So I said, I think to you that I wanted them to do MFT versus Wyatts, but as a War Game, a Survivor Series match.
We kind of got it, but we didn't get it.
No, we're not getting Wyatts. That's the difference. So they're still doing it. I think what pushed this back, but we did see Uncle Howdy tonight.
We did. We hadn't seen him in a while.
That was the first time we've seen him in a long time, and there was reports of his dad had, I guess, a heart attack. Was the reports initially? It came out that he was in hospice, but then that was corrected by the family saying no, he just had issues, and it came out it was a heart attack. So Bo was gone for a few months. No one really knew why, and no one was sharing why. So I'm assuming that was what was going on. Personal issues. I'm assuming that was it. So we saw him tonight backstage. It was when Solo was talking backstage. So they're obviously going to be continuing that. But they did announce MFTs versus Shinsuke, Rey Fenix, Sami Zayn, and the Motor City Machine Guns in a 5-person Survivor Series War Games match. They ended up brawling and stuff after Sammy got cleared, and that led to that.
I don't know about you, but I popped when he said traditional 5 versus 5.
I wanted it on Survivor Series just because that's the show, but I get why it's not. They're already having 2 War Games. Those are going to be like 30 plus minutes. Who knows how long? Maybe even 40. And then you're going to probably have 2 other matches. Which have they announced any other matches besides War Games yet? I know we're still a few weeks away, but 2 weeks tomorrow. But okay, I guess we'll find out more on Monday. But yeah, so that should be interesting. I am glad that it's happening. I'm glad because they did it initially with NXT and TNA, the Showdown. And so I'm glad that it's staying a thing now. And at least makes sense. They do it with the Andre, which was on WrestleMania initially, and that's now on like SmackDown. So I guess it makes sense that this is on.
Yeah, and who knows? We may get a team from Raw too. They may be like the Raw before.
At least do a pre-show. Yeah. I mean, because you're already doing however long their pre-shows are, 2 hours or whatever it is.
But we used to have matches.
One match on it. Yeah, at least put one. I just put it on like 15 minutes before it goes live because they're just yapping. I mean, there's a few interviewers here and there that kind of advance some things for the matches, but other than that,
And that's what that's what I like about Tailgate Brawl. When it used to be 0 hour, they would talk for 30 minutes and they would get into the matches. It would lead into the shows.
Shit, initially there wasn't even a fight. It was just like, all right, welcome to the pre-show. 5 matches, let's go.
That's true too.
Or 4 matches, whatever it
Yeah.
was. That's how initially it was. But then they slowly turned it into the talk show, into the wrestling matches. They used to do like 3 matches. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so I was hoping it was on Survivor Series, but it's not. But I'm still happy it's happening. I'm
I am
glad
too.
it's not gone away. So so after that opening segment, we had the first match of the last Time Is Now tournament of the night. Main event, Jey Uso versus The Miz. Thank God we didn't have any shenanigans. This was a clean win for Jey Uso. No Carmelo Hayes. No trying to cheat by The Miz. Miz had a good match with Jey Uso here. He had a skull-crushing finale. The crowd were on the edge of their seat of the cover for it. Tried to go up top for a super skull-crushing finale. That's where Jey got the upper hand and reversed everything and got the win in the end. But yeah, I was happy that there was no outside interference. I was just so pleased by that.
Yeah, that was the best part of it. Wrong winner.
I disagree.
I would have
You
liked
don't. The Miz, I like The Miz to a point. I'm not like a fan of The Miz. Like yeah. Point being, the guy who was most over should have won, and he won.
Yes, I get that, but I would have been okay with Jay not winning this because he's
I won.
going into War Games and they're building that up and keep him there. Because of course we always see it with Jay. He does everything possible to stretch himself thin, and it's continuing. Everything they
Mhm.
commented on it. Tonight.
Yeah,
during
I
the
think
match.
it's gonna lead to the heel turn.
It might. I mean, if there's still long form storytelling in this, because Jimmy
WWE does. They do it all the time.
and then Jimmy, we've seen it later, but
Like how long we've been trying to break up the Judgment Day with Finn and Donna have been feuding all year
yeah, that's. I mean,
since
yeah.
fucking
I
before
just,
Mania.
I guess, I just wanted to see Biz win us rather than Jay. In my opinion, it was a good
I'm just not
match.
a fan of the Miz. Miz is a good wrestler, good on the mic. I'm just and a lot of people were like in my chat, like in my community, like, oh, I'm hoping, for this person. I know the history. I want this person to win because of the history. I don't want LA Knight. He has no history, John. I'm like, I want the opposite. I want new shit. I don't want no fucking like LA's older, not like young compared to like some of the people that like Dom, that was a great match with Cena. But I want new people at least to get a rub against Cena, even if they lose, like
Yeah,
Dom did.
excellent.
Like just have one of the greatest of all time, if not greatest of all time, fucking have a great match with someone he hasn't had. He had so much nostalgic matches already this year. Let's give him some new shit before he fucking goes. He has 2 matches remaining, or 3. Sorry, he has Survivor Series. I don't know if he'll be part of War Games or a singles match for that one, but
Open challenges.
maybe Raw. I think they're gonna do something similar to what they did this past Monday on the MSG show. He'll be talking. Someone will interrupt him. Sets up a
Good match, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he'll just come out and be like, "You want some? Come get some." He might though. He's IC champion. He could.
I'd
I'm
be
not
okay
against
with
it, but they're already doing it with the US title, and he just passed it on to Sammy, who passed it on to Ilya. So I do it with another title now.
That's it.
We were praising continuity earlier. Let's not get rid of that.
Double it and give it to the next person. That's what they're doing.
That's a good one, actually. So we have Ilya Dragunov backstage after he talking to Nick Aldis. Of course, Ciampa rolls up. He wants that US title shot. He's saying he's gonna get it tonight. And Nick Aldis is like, well, he does. He has the right to choose who he faces.
Yep.
And so Ilya chose Axiom. And I don't know what it was about this match, but I didn't get as into this match as I have with the other US Open challenges.
For me, it was because it wasn't like an open challenge. Ilya's picking his.
It was.
I mean, I guess. I mean, we don't know where it came from. He could have talked to him backstage, but like, I guess I like the fact that the open challenge, like for Sammy, and for the start of Ilya, they've been in the ring, and it's been like kind of a surprise. But like,
I like wrestling more than I like surprises.
I mean, yeah,
It's just me.
I don't know. I like seeing who steps up to the plate. I guess because the matches
So
have
do I,
been
and I
good.
think they did a good job at how I like this uniqueness they've done with this open challenge, because it's, to me, an open challenge isn't just like, all right, who's it gonna be? To me, an open challenge is anyone can get an opportunity, regardless if you've been on a losing streak or a winning streak, and people that normally don't get those challenges are finally getting them. Johnny,
Yeah.
Axiom, Nathan Fraser. That's the point of an open challenge. Not like, all right, what surprise are we getting tonight?
Yeah. That does
That's
make
the
sense.
way I look at open challenges. The surprises are fun. I'm not saying I hate surprises. I just prefer the storytelling over what's it gonna be?
I mean, the
That's
Tommaso
just
Ciampa, they're building that story great. I can't
that's my
wait for that
point.
one to
I'm
happen.
loving this. They're building that really well. I love this.
Like they
They're
can
doing
do,
a good job.
but yeah, I'm thinking Tommaso takes the title. That's who I have taken it.
I would love that. And then split up into DI and have him feud with Gargano again. Let's continue that feud, baby. Long-term storytelling.
Now that one I'd be okay with because Gargano couldn't do it, Ciampa could, and it would easily be a good way to split them.
Yeah, for sure. So I personally, I like the whole like, all right, who's coming out? Like, I love that too. Just like I did tonight with LA Knight. I love that. I just don't hate when they don't do that.
That makes
If it's
sense.
done well, oppositely, I'll won't hate on it. I don't just want one thing.
That does make sense. I like.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to talk about the ending sequence of that
Yeah, go for
match.
it. Go for it.
Uh,
Yeah, I didn't feel like I just couldn't get sucked into it like I could other matches for some reason.
so he hit that Spanish fly, and Spanish fly was fantastic.
Mhm.
Halfway across the damn ring,
Yes.
landed perfectly, and he goes for I think the golden ratio is what he calls it, if I remember correctly. And that headbutt that
Yeah,
Ilya
no, that's the
Dragunov.
torpedo. That was the
Yeah.
torpedo Moscow. That's one of his finishes.
Yeah, that fucking torpedo, dude. He hit the shit out of him, Axiom, with that head.
There was a lot of brutal Axiom. There was a few so there was at one point he had Ilya in the corner Axiom, and he came in hot with some nasty kicks to the head
Yeah.
that looked legit.
Yeah, there was some rough spots that were nice throughout this match. They gave us a great match. I just feel like it
It wasn't as long as his other US Open challenges.
maybe it wasn't. I think there's only one
It
commercial.
wasn't and time's not a big crucial thing. I don't know what it was. It just I felt I don't want to say it felt rushed, but it felt rushed.
Yeah. Of course, he hits the big, the H bomb, which looked nasty too. But of course,
Oh yeah.
after the match, I think they shook hands or
Axiom's shoulder
hugged.
was up on the pin, but whatever, it's fine.
It might have been. What are you talking about? Listen,
It was.
the-
So sometimes a lot of wrestlers they don't lay flat. They'll they'll like how you sit, like your shoulders forward.
yeah.
And I don't know if it could have just been the way he was pinning him too. But yeah, no, like Ilya, I think he was just selling and he just kept like his arms like folded. So like when they cut to one of the angles, I was like, oh, his shoulders up, but that's okay. He died anyways. He's fucked up. Who
Yeah.
cares? It's like an MMA fight. He died. Who cares?
Ref couldn't see it. Ilya was laying on top of him.
Yeah. But I know there's always those one fans that nitpick. So
Oh God, yeah, that's true.
So Cody Rhodes was here, of course. We saw him backstage when there was Paul Heyman. So first Nick Aldis was talking with I think that was when he was initially talking with was it Ciampa and all them.
Yes.
Then he had walked away, and then that's when we saw Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed. And Nick's like, you guys need to leave the premises, blah 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 blah. And then eventually it led to another, like when we come back later to them in his office. And he had like the War Games contract, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just here to tell you that I have the right for any superstar on any brand to be on our team for War Games." And he's like, "That could have been an email, Paul. Thanks for telling me what I already knew was in the contract." Like, thanks, bud. And is there another reason you're here or what? And I forget what Paul said from there, but it led to Cody walking up and gets in Paul's face, and he's like, "Oh, look who's here, Cody Rhodes." And they just kind of go back and forth because, of course, Cody's in War Games. And Cody's like, "This is my brand. You're in my show." Blah, 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 blah. And kind of typical Cody stuff, not gonna lie. And but yeah, so it leads to Bronson Reed versus Cody Rhodes, and then of course he's like, "Well, won't we make it for the title?" And Cody's like, "Book it, all this." So another big match for Cody this week.
Yeah, another great match for Cody, I guess. But typical main event vision.
It was a typical main event vision.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. It was the same bullshit we see at Bronson and Braun. Bronson Reed, I mean, or Bronson and Braun Breaker, excuse me. Of course, they were on the outside, or I think it was Cody was on the outside. It was when they were on the commentary, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's when Braun Breaker launched himself off the steps and took him out, and then that led to, and of course earlier in the show, Jimmy, when they were backstage, it was Jay, Cody, and then Jay walked up, and then Jimmy walked up, and he was like, "Yo, I'm officially part of be part of you guys at War Games. I got your Baz back." So he's there for it. And so this match ended in that Vision bullshit because then Logan came out too, and they were beating down on Cody, which led to Jay and Jimmy to come out, and they started beating down on Logan. And before we know it, though, of course, former tag partner of Logan, the suspended one, Drew McIntyre, returns. And so people in my chat were like, "Do you think we'll see Drew tonight?" I was like, "I think he's going to be in it," but I was like, they might wait another week, like the Denver show, because he's suspended technically. But I don't understand how just because the rule, because the way Paul, because then they cut to Drew came out and he hit Glasgow Kiss on one of the Usos, and he went in the ring and took Logan off the table and all that, and they started beating everyone down. But on the outside, Aldis came down, and then he gets in Paul's face, and he's like, "Oh," yelling whatever he's yelling. But
he was pissed.
Paul was the whole time he's like, I forget exactly what he's like, any brand or whatever he kept saying. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me see if it's in the notes here. But he kept saying it over and over, and it kept making me laugh. First thing I'll come down. He says, anybody. That's all he kept saying. Anybody. And they even cut cameras, and you could still hear Paul. Anybody. Yeah. And you just hear Nick yelling in his face. Can't even make out what he's saying. And it happened for 10 seconds. You just hear Paul saying anybody, and I was laughing because that's all he was saying. But I was like, how does that circumvent the rules of a suspension just because it's anybody?
I don't know.
It makes no sense. Because then, in theory, the way I would think of it, if I am Aldis, I extend the suspension. He's already indefinitely suspended, basically. I'm just not bringing him back. So how is he going to be part of this? Because now he just broke suspension.
Yep.
How does this anybody rule circumvent that? I don't get it.
I don't either. I think even Michael Cole said what's he doing here? He's suspended. He is.
I'm sure they'll explain it next week. They'll try to at least. But when I sit here and I'm like, what in kayfabe? What I've seen people on Reddit say is William Regal this for me, because William Regal's really good at explaining shit in kayfabe to make sense when it doesn't make sense to people. And so I really need someone to Regal this for me. What am I missing here? Are they gonna just, oh, this says anybody, it doesn't matter if that's what the fuck can they do? Because if I'm all this, I'm just no, I'm not lifting the suspension now anytime soon. Fuck him. He beat one of my refs, and then now he broke suspension and came to join you guys when he's not supposed to be here. I'm not gonna let his suspension up, unless you go to Hunter or someone higher up, I guess. But I guess I just have to wait and see instead of getting hot.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it. Kayfabe side. I was really hoping we was gonna get Austin Theory as the 4th. Now I'm hoping it happens to be the 5th.
Cole did make Cole did make it clear that at the end he's like, Drew is the 4th out of the 5, so there's gonna be a 5v5, just I'm not sure if the women will be. I'm thinking that'll be 4 before. They haven't said anything indicating that'll be 5. But
the only thing I am praying that Triple H does not do is throw Brock Lesnar in this fucking thing. I am fine with
I didn't think they were gonna throw Jimmy in there, so that was the prize for me. I could see Brock, especially since the connection with Paul, and then he had Paul manage him at WrestlePalooza. And it would make sense too. I agree with you. I'm in the same boat as you. I feel the exact same way. But I totally understand now. They don't care, dude. They don't fucking care. Until he's fucking slapped with something legally, they don't care.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, I wouldn't be shocked if it's him.
Ah, fuck, I know. I like what they're doing though. Paul Heyman is the visionary, or he is the Oracle younger talent, except for Drew McIntyre. But Logan Paul, he is young. He is still getting used to being in WWE. He still needs someone to truly help him. Not truly help him on the mic, because he's been working behind a mic for years, but he has the heel heat. Cool, let's keep it. Braun Breaker, hell of an athlete. I think he still needs a little bit of mic work, but that's my opinion on it. Reed, he's getting there. I think he could be champ before Breaker, in my opinion. And now you got Drew, who they're eventually gonna have to put the title back on, I think. And you give it to Theory as number 5, because Theory is also the future. Brock's on his way out.
For sure. He's in his late 40s, so yeah.
I don't think they need to put Brock in this. I can understand Team Cody being full of everybody else. Cody, Punk, Jimmy, Jay, and probably fucking Roman. And I'm okay with that. But let Paul Heyman have his vision of a group that he can push once everyone else is gone. 'Cause that's what it is.
The way I look at it is Brock could be like, and I don't want him in it either, but the way that I could see this is like Brock could be that old veteran that's passing down all of the proper knowledge to these veterans or these younger talent in this match. But I get where you're coming from. I totally agree with you. I totally see why he could be part of it.
Because you're not going to put Breaker against Brock yet. That'll be the passing of the torch match.
So the only other thing I don't think we talked about was the BFAB Jade Cargill match, which was just a complete total domination from Jade, from start to finish. And then afterwards, we just saw Machin come out and check on BFAB, which led to Jade, kind of like staring her down, which led to Machin doing the same, and then got in her face and got shoved down. So I believe they announced that for next week. If they didn't, I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah, I think.
Jade and Machin.
There's
But yeah,
some,
I mean, it was just a quick squash. Nothing
yeah,
really too crazy in that one.
multiple power bombs. Crowd wanted to see another one. We seen Jaded and Andre of good old AEW.
And then, oh yeah, we did see Chelsea Green complain to Nick Aldis about her title celebration being canceled this week, and she had a dress all picked out, and she didn't get no pyro last week when she won the title like other people do when they win their titles. So she wants to have a celebration next Friday and pyro, and Aldis actually agreed to it.
Yeah, we'll have someone attack her. I don't think it's gonna be a clean celebration.
Oh, for sure. I do say I want to we talked about it a bit earlier though, how they set up the Survivor Series match. And they had Uncle Howdy behind Solo when they announced that backstage. I think Howdy costs the MFTs that match. That will continue that story, is my guess.
That would make sense. Because we've seen the MFTs hiding behind them. Not MFTs. We've seen the Wyatts hiding behind the MFTs, and even last week, maybe he said now is not the time, or wait, something like that. So I think that is what they're waiting on.
The only other thing I just realized we didn't talk about was we saw R-Truth again backstage with Nick Aldis, and he wanted his balls again in the little thing. And so and Nick was trying to tell him that his name was in it, and he didn't have to worry about it. He doesn't need these ones. But of course, they were doing the innuendos of like touching his balls.
Yeah, and then he gave him to
And
Chelsea. Yeah.
gave him to Chelsea, yeah.
Eh,
And Chelsea was like all like I don't remember what she said, but she was like, "Whose balls am I holding?" or something
yeah.
like that.
It's just like,
Something like that. It was so stupid. But of course, I'm immature, so I laughed. It made
oh,
me
I mean,
crack
I
up.
did too. We also
But
got
yeah, what did we forget?
the next round of the SmackDown. The last time it was now a
Yes.
tournament.
Yes.
Great matches, in my opinion, coming up for next week. Penta versus Finn. I'm looking forward to that.
We've seen that in so many variations that I'm sure it'll be fine, but I'm like, I can't get hyped.
And then Reed versus Mello.
I like that they put Mello in this, but he's gonna die. It's gonna go to Reed. I'll have to see if anyone's averaged the age now that every participant has been announced. But my gosh, has there been a lack of young talent in this tournament?
Is that every
All people.
participant?
That's the 16.
Except for the one we don't know about Monday against Solo.
Yeah, because we had the matches that happened on Monday, and then we had the matches that were tonight. So that was 8 people. Now we're down to 4 on that side. And then we have the 4 happening, the 2 matches on Monday, and then the 2 happening on SmackDown. So that's another 8. That's 16.
The only young one on there is really Javon.
And Mello.
Mello, yeah. I mean,
Everyone else is in their mid to late 30s or older. I mean, I get it though. A lot of them are established, so and they haven't. I mean, I'm glad LA advanced because again, I'd like to see him and Cena. I mean, I doubt that's the. So at this point, we have LA who advanced. We have Jay who advanced, And then on Monday, it was Rusev and Sheamus.
Yes.
Do you see any of those four facing John on Saturday Night's main event?
I could see LA possibly. Don't see Jay getting that far.
Out of all of them, I honestly would rather see Sheamus.
But yeah, I mean that was
Out
my
of those four.
on the other side. I could see Sheamus, so I could see LA Knight with Sheamus right now as the field sit.
Yeah. So who do you have facing? So you still have Joe, you said, right? Against Solo on Monday? Joe Hendry?
I would think, but because it's in MSG, same place that Gold Rush is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's this next night. Well, Gold Rush will be in the theater, which is connected, but yeah. So I have Solo advancing no matter who it is, because I think it'll be like either that NXT or TNA talent. And then I have probably Penta advancing, but I could see Finn getting help from the Judgment Day.
So far, there hasn't been any shenanigans outside of Infinite. I like that.
That's the one that would make the most sense, unfortunately, because he has the faction. So I mean, I don't know.
What could really happen is Ray Phoenix and Penta on the first show since they've been part in WWE. So
yeah, that's true. Actually, it'll be on SmackDown. So
we're getting closer to the Lucha Bros being back together.
We are. I think they're both announced for a AAA show coming up. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
At least I know Phoenix is. I know Phoenix is in that match. It's like I think it's like Octagon, Javon and Phoenix or some shit or something like that. Or it's like Axiom and Javon. Actually, I think is what it is. Actually. But yeah. So, anyways, I think there's something like that. Anyways, hopefully it happens soon. Because how do you not have the Lucha Brothers team up? And they're getting older. Come on.
Yeah.
Chop chop.
How much longer? Yeah.
But crazy week of wrestling. I'm excited to go to my wrestling show tomorrow. I'm gonna be putting the ring together. Yeah, I'm gonna be lifting these muscles. Got the wood. I mean, I'm not gonna be only me. They're long ass pieces, so someone have to go to the other side. But I'm excited for that. We got Collision tomorrow, which I'll be missing. There's a nice UFC card tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'll be missing probably the best card of the year, fight wise. So I'm a little bummed I'm gonna miss that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big UFC fan. If you guys didn't know. And I've watched it since 09. That's the only thing I'll shout out Brock Lesnar for. Thank you for getting me into UFC, Brock.
That was probably the best thing.
That's what made me really get.
Yeah.
I watched it like leading up. So my first big UFC pay per view was 100, where he beat Frank Mir in their second fight, where he won the title. But that was like I had seen it leading up to that. I was dating a chick. I was in high school at the time. I was dating a chick whose family was like really into like UFC at the time, and that's how I got introduced was them. And then, but of course, I paid more attention because Brock was in it. So that made me like really more focused into it. And I think their family was into wrestling too. But yeah, so shout out Brock for getting me into UFC because that was my first big UFC pay-per-view was that one. Then I saw GSP beat John Fitch on that card. It was total domination though.
Yep.
I got to see Dan Henderson knock the shit out of Michael Bisping on that card. Brutal H-bomb they called it because it was disgusting. Yeah, so shout out Brock. So I'm bummed I'm missing that tomorrow, but and then Sunday, my Broncos face the Chiefs. We're 8-2. Dude, oh my God. I can't believe my team after a decade. It's literally 10 years since we last made, well, before last year, because we made the playoffs last year, but like 10 years ago since we won the Super Bowl. And we're one of the best teams, if not, we're right behind New England and like Indy. We're like all tied for the top right now of the AFC.
Yeah, so but my thing for the Broncos, for y'all to win, Bo Nix has to be able to throw that ball.
Yeah, we didn't look good against on Thursday night. My thing is I'm glad that we've had time since our Thursday game against what the fuck was it? I don't even remember anymore. It was that bad of a game.
Yeah, it was
that
the
bad of a game.
Jets.
This is Raiders, I think.
But yes, it was, yep.
Anyways, so yeah, we look like garbage on offense. Like that, we've had a few games where we've done good on offense, but that was the worst for sure. That might be Bo Nix's worst game. Was that at least? I thought. So we have had injuries too. We haven't had like Marvin Mims, the wide receiver. Obviously, Sertan, our the reigning defensive player of the year.
Yep.
Fucking was out. He's gonna be out, I believe, still this game. I think Greenlaw's back from suspension. Yeah, because I think he was back for the Raiders game. So we'll have Greenlaw back at linebacker. But I think we're missing a few other people that are kind of been really good at depth for us. So I'm hoping that we could do well because the Chiefs started off slow, but they're starting to get those wins. So,
well, currently, if the playoff started last Sunday, at the end of last Sunday, on Monday, they would not be in the playoffs. So that's a positive thing.
Yeah, they're like 5-3 or 5-4 or some shit,
Yeah.
6-3 or something like that. But yeah, so I mean, it's different when it's a divisional matchup, when it's your in division rivals. So that we're both AFC West. We play each other 2 times a year. I think we don't play them again until like December or January. After this, but yeah, it's same with Raiders. Like the Raiders were whatever, pretty poor record going into our game, and we only won by fucking score,
Mhm.
1 score game. So I feel like that's my Broncos. No matter what year, decade it's been since I've been a fan, there's always multiple seasons where like we look so good, and then the teams that like have the poor records, we like for some reason they give us a run for our money. It's so weird, or we lose to them.
Yeah, it happens.
But and that's not the Chiefs. It's just in division games. Those are always the craziest too. So I forget if it's in Kansas City or not tomorrow on Sunday, but it's gonna be crazy nonetheless. I think it is. I think we've had 2 straight home games.
Yeah, and then of course Seattle's got the Rams and at Rams. So
They've been pretty good too.
yeah, they have. So I think this will be a real test for us. Like we've had some like last week we came out put 31 up in the first quarter. The week before that, I think we put up like 35 in the first half. So this will be a real test.
Yeah. So man, I don't know. What's your guys' record right now, Seahawks?
We've lost 2 games. So I think
Oh shit. Okay.
we haven't had a no, we have had a bye. So we should be what
Who's your quarterback right now? Darnold.
Sam Donald.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Damn. So fuck, man. Rematch in the Super Bowl. Let's go. We'll kick your ass this time.
It was last time. I don't know what happened. I think it would be a good Super Bowl this
Dude,
time.
that was, I mean, one of the greatest defenses ever versus one of the highest scoring offenses ever. That was one of the. Who would have expected that's what that would have accumulated to in the Super Bowl? Because literally the Broncos were like, I think at the time, like one of the highest scoring offenses point wise ever, like one of the top 2 or 3 that season. And then you guys were Legion of Boom. I mean, how do you not forget the Legion of Boom? They're fucking insane. And dude, that was nuts. Like the depth we have at receiving was like nutty. So I was like, oh, we got this. Wes Welker, fucking Demarius Thomas,
miss you.
fucking Eric Decker. We had like, and then we had some pretty good guys behind them too that were coming in and doing well. So I was like, oh, we got this, dude. You guys we didn't do shit. 43-8. You got first play of the game. We fucking safety or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was a snap that went over Peyton's head.
I'll never forget that Super Bowl, bro. That pain
And then I
as a
think
fan.
and I've listened to people talk about it and even watching it. Like if it wasn't for the Legion of Boom, they wouldn't have got what they got.
You guys made us look like nothing. And then, of course, a few years later, we fucking had our fucking crazy ass defense. 2 years or 2, 3 years later, we fucking had our no fly zone, is what we call ours.
Yep.
And that shit was wild. I'll never forget that off season. I remember I was working at a Goodwill, and I had got like the alerts on my phone or whatever. Broncos signed TJ Ward, Broncos signed DeMarcus Ware, Broncos signed Akeem Talib, and I was like, oh my fucking god! Like I was like so excited just reading all of those alerts. I was like, we are that year. I was like, John Elway, I'm gonna give you a big old kiss if I ever meet you, because he just went all in
He
on free
did.
agency that year. Our offense was great. He just sealed up that defensive side and helped out Von Miller a bit, and we went fucking crazy.
That was the year Peyton got his last one.
And that was
right?
that Super Bowl 50. That was a great comeback from. Oh, we had that. Payne had a pretty bad year that year. We even sat him for a few games, not because I think the coaching staff said, "Oh, he's dealing with some type of small injury. We would rather rest him," But no, he was looking like ass for a while there. That defense carried him big time. He had a okay season. It could have been worse, but yeah, man. I would say in Denver, my love says for the Broncos Chiefs. Okay, that's good. That makes me more excited.
Thank God. Yeah, that's
no.
I will
I think the
say
majority of NFL fans don't want the Chiefs to be in the Super Bowl again this year. It's been like what, 3 years in a row?
3 out of the last 5, yeah.
Yeah, the only other one was Bengals.
It's always a good Sunday when the Cowboys and the Chiefs lose.
Dude, I don't know what it is. They're not even in my division. I hate the Cowboys. Like, no, I know what it is. It's actually a lot of their fan base more than anything.
Yeah, that and Jerry
Which
Jones.
is dumb because I actually have a friend that's a Cowboys fan, but it's like when we beat them, like there was actually a lot of respectable Cowboys fans in my chat, but then like there was like the 2 that came in. I was like, Damn, all season, every team that my teams beat, I've never had one issue. And of course, it's the Cowboys. The first time this season that I have some assholes in chat after we beat them. Everyone else was so respectful every other game after their team lost. Everyone came in, even though we talked shit during the game, like, shout out, man. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. You guys did it.
Yep.
That was the only time this year that people in my chat were assholes after the fucking game. And it was only a few people. It wasn't like a ton. It was like 2. But I was like, I even told them, I was like, damn, everyone was so respectable. But here you are being the classic Cowboy fans that I know you guys are. That sucks.
Yeah.
And then they shut up.
There's always a few that never let it die.
Yeah, they didn't talk again after that. It made me laugh. But yeah, let's go Broncos. Broncos country. That's right. No, fuck that. It makes me think of Russell Wilson all the time. So let's move on from that.
God almighty. Unfortunately, Russell's not doing good. Jameis Winston starting. For anyone that's a Giants fan, your quarterback will be Jameis Winston. Y'all should
I'd
win.
rather have Jameis all day, every day. Give me 5 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. I don't give a fuck. Give me Jameis the Show Winston. I don't even know what his nickname is. That guy always puts on a show.
Yeah,
Have you seen the clips on
dubs.
social media? Like of the, it's like a, I guess, a snow related videos of NFL, and it like starts off with the interview of Jameis, and he's like, "I'm so blessed. That
Yes.
the Lord lets me play in some snow," and it's like,
Yes.
and then it goes into like the Christmas music. I've seen a few different like versions, like with the Mariah Carey song or like "Rockin' Around Christmas Tree" and a few others. But anytime I see them, I have to stop and they make me style, especially because if it's the Jameis Winston thing starting it, because I love that interview because he totally ignores the question.
Yeah,
The
he
chick interviews
does.
like, how are you gonna handle these winds? Like she says how fast the wind's blowing and the temperatures, and he just starts smiling and before she even finishes the question, and that was his answer. I'm
He
just so
just
blessed. The Lord let me play in some snow.
he knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't care about the question at
Yeah, he's
all.
like some true football weather, and I was like, hell yeah. That's what's gonna kind of suck too, though. I'm curious because Denver is gonna have a new stadium in like 2031, I think is what it is. So we're shout out to the Broncos owners because they're gonna pay for it. We have no raise taxes on that, and they're covering everything. Thank God. So they are building a new stadium. It's gonna be a retractable roof. The one thing about Denver, I mean, besides the elevation, is we have the weather advantage too, because we get snow obviously in the winter months. So I'm curious, and the owners are saying they're going to do their best, like to make sure the stadium we can keep the elements in the stadium. So I'm wondering if they're going to try to do something like in LA at SoFi, where like there's one side that's always open, no matter what.
I think what that has to do with, and of course, when I was in Dallas, my son he's a Cowboys fan, and so I took him to see Dallas Stadium. They were telling us that Dallas is getting the FIFA World Cup or something related to that in next year, maybe 27. So I'm thinking more stadiums are going to be updating where they can close it to try to be able to
Oh
bid
yeah,
for that. That might
yeah,
be
that or
why.
the NBA Finals and all that stuff
Yeah.
too. Well, yeah, I mean that makes sense too. But I'm just curious because a lot of the fans were actually bummed that we're going to be getting like a retractable roof stadium because we're one of the few that have that still. Like, I mean, we're elevation and we get the snow, so we still get the elements get involved. And so a lot of fans are worried that it's just those are going to be gone and eliminated now, and there's going to be all clean games here home now.
Cannot have, like, in Buffalo, Buffalo's wanting to get a top, like a
Yeah,
closed
they're going to get
stadium.
a retractable roof.
That's
Yeah.
it's horrible. Like,
That makes more sense because have you like the last few years, and they're so north that they get the most snow, I think, than any football team in their fucking where their stadium's located. Them and probably the Jets and stuff. But like you've seen, they've literally have fans volunteering to fucking clear the stands because it's so brutal.
yeah,
They get feet of snow in those stands sometimes
they
before
do.
a game, like days leading up to a game. So I get it if they could do something kind of like where I guess like the Rose Bowl where it just covers up to the crowd and then the field's open. That's most retractable where it's just the dead center that they could open now. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just hope that they don't like if there's like a game that's gonna be really cool, but like no bad weather, like they're just gonna keep it closed and be like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna be comfortable. No bad weather here. Perfect
Yeah.
game. You know what I
That'd be
mean?
good.
Give us the fucking element at least of the cold, them fucking with their fingers, them having to fucking use the hand warmers. Like, come on.
We'll see. I'm hoping it don't change. But I like watching this.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, that's gonna do it. We went an hour and a half. We made it. Woo! Didn't go too long this time. Tell everyone where they can watch you outside the podcast.
You can watch TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and Kraken Wrestling.
And for me, you can watch me as Josh Vibes Up on TikTok. Sorry, I mixed up words there. I was thinking Twitch, and then I said TikTok. TikTok, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I'm everywhere. So I go live. I do live reactions, as does Kraken, on our channels when the Raw, SmackDown, all those are live. So come check us both out. And we'll catch you guys on Tuesday next week. We'll talk about mainly Raw and NXT, but we might kind of talk more about some stuff happening with Collision and stuff leading up to Full Gear. So, yeah, catch you guys next time. Bye.